This illustration deals with ESS disconnecting means in accordance with NEC 706.15 C as in car 1 through 4. The purpose of change was to accept a revision to this section. A revision has been made to clarify that each energy storage system shall plainly indicate whether it's in the open, off, or closed on position and shall be permanently marked energy storage system disconnect. That is the purpose of this revision. Now, this review the notes that kind of tie in what they're really wanting us to do here. And note 1, to the right top hand side of the illustration, it states disconnect marked in field as follows. The number 1 requirement here is the normal ESS A system voltage and maximum ESS DC voltage. The disconnect has to be marked identifying this voltage. The available fault current derived from the ESS, that's 2, that has to be marked on there. 3, an arc flash label applied in accordance with the acceptable industry practice standards, and usually, that's in 70E, NFPA 70E, and usually I think that's 110.5H that covers that. And then lastly here, date the calculation that was performed in accordance with 706.15 C1 through C4. And the bullet 2 at the left of the illustration, the following words shall be marked if engaged in the open position. In other words, off. First first warning. Secondly, electrical shock hazard if one's involved. 3, terminals on the line and load side of the switch. Fourthly, side may be energized in the open position, and they want you to be aware of that, so it's marked 706.15 C along with 110.21A as an apple. Now, again, we're looking at anything that could have storage energy. So you're looking at renewable energy and the items, PV, wind, batteries, fuel cell listed there. You're also looking transmission and distribution equipment at the bottom, and see those batteries there, ESS, that could be providing power in the storage range. And then notice the note 3, if we review it, remember to see the informational notes 1 and 2. The 706.15 C as in car, as well as 110.21B as in boy. Now, reviewing now the call-out information, let's review the disconnect there, right above the facility with a sign. And the title of this call-out is Disconnecting Means, and to obtain the information we need to design or install it, 706.15 C as in car, 110.25 for the locking rule, 110.21 for the marking and labeling rule. Second, we know it's an energy storage system disconnect that has to be designed, installed, and inspected by 706.15 C as in car. And notice this disconnect has to be identified where it's open or in the closed position in 706.15 C. So if someone's disconnecting the power, they know that the load side would be disconnected and only the line side would be energized. And you may have arcing shields You have means to close, enclose those terminals there, or they may be open. If right at the top, they're exposed. So when we look at NFPA 70E, it says be sure you review your disconnect to see if you have arcing shields, or are we exposed to those live terminals and conductors when we open the cover. Now, if we're dealing with strictly a dwelling unit, then you see dwelling unit, we need to review 705.15C exception, and you see the storage, ESS storage type of batteries there. Going over to the commercial facility, we'd review 705 or 706, dot 15C1 through C4. And again, at the dwelling unit, we need to review 706 dot 15C exception. Now, the final call out that I would review would be the also call out right above your commercial building showing its ESS storage. Notice the NEC in 110.16b as in boy is referring you to information pertaining to arc flash conditions, and 110.24 it's calculates the available short circuit current at the service, for example. And then NFPA 70E 130.5H, that's a different label that we put on the equipment than the label in 110.16. So we want to make sure that we realize that the 110.16 label is not the same label that's required for arc flash conditions. We need to go to NFPA 70E 130.5H for that information. So the NEC is trying to let the designer, installer, or inspector, as well as the maintainer, know that there are labels that have to be put on this equipment identifying your disconnect and also indicating the on or off for safety. But notice the NEC now is accepting proposals to design and install basically the disconnecting means so that 70B and 70E can be enforced and have the working space to do so.